Let's do this. Let's talk more about Berserk.
Yeah.
Woo! Woo! How much do you like battles? Because that's primarily what this whole episode is about.
It's like all we're doing.
It is the most important I mean, if you had a battle that ended the 100-year war, it would be a pretty important battle. So
yeah. No, like in the context of like the kingdom, like this battle is the battle.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's definitely the battle. So we're going to be starting off where we left off in volume 7 of the new books, I guess, the new volumes or whatever. And yeah, the battle for Doldrey, chapter 1, and I think this is what, up to chapter 8 or something. There's a lot of this.
There's at least
6. I can't remember if it went on after that.
6, yes. Yeah,
There's 6? Okay.
And then like some of the aftermath.
Yeah. All right, so right from the get-go, we just have, as we ended off, the Holy Purple Rhino Knights. And that's exciting. So what do we do? We go into a room with a bunch of men talking around maps.
Yeah.
That's what we do.
There's a trope that I love, though, that we lead off with. And it's like, I mean, so obviously we have everybody talking about, like, it's impossible. Nobody can defeat the Holy Purple Rhino Knights and the fortress. It's impenetrable.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, you know, the Band of the Hawk could do it.
Well, Griffith can do it. And the Band of the Hawk.
I love the fucking cliche, like, do you really think you could do it? I mean, if you order me to, yeah. Like, this idea of not, like, it's not whether or not I can, it's whether or not you tell me to.
Yeah.
I love that shit. I'm a sucker for it.
Yeah, see, I don't care about this at all. Like, all of this is, it's good writing, it's good shit. We also get some funny faces from, like, the council or whatever, the war room. But this is all just war room banter. All of it.
Oh, totally.
Actually, you know what? Hold on. It starts on page 143, and it goes up until...
151.
151, they're out of the war room, but they're still talking about it.
The battery. Yeah.
Like, this is all just Griffith with the generals, essentially, up to page 155, really.
Yeah. But we do get, like, once they step out and we get some of the... It's not our first instance with it, but, like, just the idea of people, like, recognizing that Griffith is, like, hot shit, so they should maybe be, you know, sucking up a little.
Well, it's kind of interesting because, yes, that is a thing, but this war room doesn't respect him because he's not royalty, nobility, he's not even a knight. Like, it's a good reminder that this is a mercenary band he runs. They're not knights. They're not special at all. People don't like them.
Yeah.
So, like, yeah, and it's kind of interesting because the thing that gets this war room to be like, yeah, okay, whatever, first of all, is that whatever the king says goes, like, tough shit if they don't like it. But also, they kind of make peace with the fact that, well, like, let them try, and if they all get murdered, who fucking cares? They're a bunch of thieves anyway.
Yeah.
And, of course, we know, as the readers, that they're not going to fail. Because they have guts. Like, so you posted in the Discord the, like, parody of, like, of Guts just being like, Griffith? He's like, yes, Guts, I killed them all. And then he's just like, I am a brilliant tactician.
It's so good, dude. That's literally every fucking one of these battles, pretty much.
Yeah. This is going to be no different. There's more to this battle, but that's...
Well, we learned that, I don't even know how the fuck it is. The old pedophile who Griffith sold himself to.
Man, I hate that I have to say which one.
It's the one we got in the backstory.
Yeah. We talked about him last time a little bit.
His new title, or his current title, Governor General Genin, Supreme Commander of the Tudor Empire's Northern Battlefront.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. He's just nobility, though. Straight up. I guess the way, like, maybe to relate this is he's the one that gives money to people.
Yeah.
It's literally his job. So I guess he just gives himself whatever title he wants.
Well, yeah, it says like, he literally just, like, he's so fucking rich. I don't know if it's said explicitly, but, like, we could reason that he's, like, the richest nobleman, because it says he just, like, promoted himself by way of financial assets.
Yeah, he bought his way to the top.
Yeah. Fat stacks. I know we're trying not to just, like, talk about every fucking panel.
No. We should talk about important panels for sure.
Well, I just want to point out on page 156, the bottommost right panel, and the fact that we have 4 top tier, like,
anime emotes.
Faces.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
The fucking pog face.
Actually, this whole part of the, like, little crew of them gambling.
Yeah, it's so good, dude.
Is really good. Yeah. Their facial expressions, just as a reminder that this is, like, still Japanimation. Even on that same page, there's, like, where they obviously lost, their heads are just, like, smacked down on the table from embarrassment or from, like, I don't know, just the fact that they lost. Yeah, just classic anime shit. Also, the Nani page on or panel on the next page of Guts' eyes, and then just, like, the exclamation mark. I still really like when this thing is really dark and shitty in a lot of ways. So I like when there's levity and, like, anime-ness to it.
Totally.
It's so... There's so few times. There's so few times that eyeballs are stuck in their heads that... Yeah, no, it's nice.
We learned that, what's his name, is alive. Adon?
Yeah, the
invincible, resourceful general.
As a reminder, he's the one that attacked Casca and shot at them after getting smacked by Guts with the sword and, like, making them fall off the edge. He somehow lived through all of this, and then he ran away from the battle.
Yeah, or the 100-man war, I should say, or fight.
Yeah.
While you fucking, with the secret technique passed down through my Kaborlwitz family for 700 years. Kasatsu Jizai playing dead.
And there's just, like, a panel of him, like, pretending to be dead on a bunch of other corpses around him.
Just unreal.
Yeah, it's really, really good. So the next panel we get kind of like the big bad, his brother. And I don't know if you've ever played Super Punch-Out, but he reminds me of, I think his name is Nick Bruiser or whatever, like the last boss of Super Punch-Out. And it's weird to me. He looks so much like him. It's insane.
That's wild.
I mean, it's just a standard, like, I don't know, really strong bald man, like really strong masculine facial features and stuff. So I understand, like, why, but
he's just also, like, ridiculously overdrawn, like his face is.
There is
so stupidly detailed.
There are so many lines.
It's real good.
Every time they show his face for the first few pages, there's, like, a really scary one where after he smacks what's his name, Adon or whatever, there's just, like, a picture of him with his eyes shaded dark, and it's so fucking creepy. It's page 161 for following along.
Oh yeah, no, that shot is fucking...
It's so cursed.
Yeah. They're so non-existent.
Yeah. This guy is super cool looking. Like, you can tell he's a badass. The way he's drawn and stuff. His armor's dope as shit, too. In a less silly way than the fish. I guess the purple rhino knights in general are less, like, weird than the fish knights.
Yeah, no, it's a more new, like, they're just spiky.
Yeah. They look like from WoW or something, like a standard MMO. Most importantly, he goes and talks to a nobleman that we don't really, that is obscured in shadows and lines, and we come to find out that it is the pedophilic rapist that fucked Griffith, or that rather Griffith fucked for money earlier in his life.
You think Griffith was the top?
I mean, I guess depending on how much he paid, he's whatever he was told to be.
Moving on from
Yeah,
that garbage.
I just don't want to like bring up the fact that he has a child serving him wine or whatever. In that scene.
Fucking, I mean, not only is the kid there, but Mira made sure to make his eye fucking 1,000-yard stare.
Yeah,
It's bad. Even just in like that moment, it's just like more than enough to let you know.
yeah,
Fucking terrible.
yeah. This is all kind of a lead up where the general, after dealing with Adon and calling him a disgrace to his family and to the army and blah, 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 or whatever, he's talking with the pedophilic nobleman and is told that the leader of the band of hawks, the White Hawk, mustn't be killed. He has to be brought in alive for him, essentially, which is just, there's like a lot, there's the picture of him at the end of the chapter here, just kind of looking at us, the viewer, the camera or whatever, while drinking, and you just know it's disgusting. It's just so creepy.
It's just,
Like,
yeah, he has a lot
side-eye.
of lines too, but in other ways.
Yeah. It's just, I don't like him. I fucking hate him so much.
Well, and we learn a little later, like he's still apparently like Griffith really gave that knight his all, because
He's like in love with him. He's a simp, like tier 3 sub.
He is fine wine, an intoxicating phantom. I mean, not wrong, but like, you
No,
have to
totally.
say it.
But like tier 3 sub on Twitch. That's him.
Oh.
$25 a month. Going along, the war is, it's hard to say that the battle is starting because it's kind of just been happening, but the battle that we're seeing with the War of the Hawk, or the Band of the Hawk, is about to take place, and we have one of those giant shots where Mira doesn't necessarily do all the line work that he's known for doing, but that's because he, instead of a million lines detailing a group of 5 dudes, he has a few lines detailing a million dudes.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's, I don't know. There's something that doesn't work for me on these pages, like specifically the title card pages, the double page spread for chapter 2 with just the big army or whatever. There's something about the way they're shaded or something that doesn't feel right to me, and I don't know why. It just doesn't feel good. It's very and like, he's done minimal drawings to show big things before and they felt fine. This one in particular almost feels lazy in a weird way to me, and I can't really put my finger on why. I don't know. It
Honestly,
just seems empty.
Like, yeah, I think maybe part of it's like the sand or something.
There's clouds
like,
of sand. Yeah.
I'm like just looking at it in like the image preview thing. That's how I like view these.
Yeah.
but it's like a huge picture. So if I zoom in, there's actually still like a ton of detail. Like I thought it was just kind of like dots, but like if you go in, like the horses are all fucking there.
Yeah, no, the horses are there. There's banner carriers. You can see the weapons on some dudes as well. Like,
I guess because like none of it is filled in. Like you just drew the sand stuff is like that effect is just through everything.
I think
so,
that's
like,
what it is.
The horses also just have. They're like everything's just transparent. It's just lines.
Yeah. I think that's what it is. And like what it feels like when you put it that way is he drew everything and then they put another layer in Photoshop on with like the cloud and didn't like change anything. So it just looks like two parts of the image smashed together.
Yeah.
To me or something.
Like I think even if they would have just had like all the horses just blank.
Yeah, something.
But without
right?
without the sandy dots, I think that might help a little.
Maybe, yeah. Either way, it's just kind of boring too. I don't know. I don't come to this sort of thing for like army shots.
Yeah. I mean, real talk, like honestly, the sand billowing looks super fucking cool. Like I don't care about the horses, but I care about how cool the sand looks.
Yeah, the horses look so dumb.
They're very derpy.
Yeah. So yeah, on the battlefield, Guts is in his whole getup with, is this judo? I always get judo and what's the other one? Do you remember off the top of your head? Yeah, I always get them mixed up in my head because they're just kind of like plain looking anime dudes with no features.
Judo is easy when it's like when the camera is like facing him, so to speak. It's easy because his eyes are like 16 kilometers apart.
Oh, okay, sure.
He has a very wide face.
Sure, yeah. We see Guts finally not covered in bandages from having like every bone broken in his body from fighting 100 men. So that's good.
Yeah.
All right, so we get kind of our first glimpse of the Rhino Purple Knights, or one of them anyways, in the flesh, as it were, with kind of like a half-page spread of him on his horse. Horse looks dope as shit, breathing out like
they got the
steam or something.
Yeah. Well, I think this is supposed to be
probably sand
general
or something.
Well, no, I think it's general guy.
This guy
is it not? He looks a little wonky, but I thought it was the same dude, or supposed to be. Maybe I'm wrong.
He does look wonky, but the way he's like thinking to himself.
Yeah, the way his speech, internal dialogue seems like it's him. But
it is him.
Weird.
He does look weird. Huh, I never really even put that together. Yeah.
I'm gonna say it. He looks white.
He does.
It's kind of the thing.
Yeah, and he didn't before.
Oh.
Yeah, it's weird. It's super weird. Anyways. I think you know what I'm about to say. Because there's a pretty important panel on page 172 that if anybody's following along should definitely
definitely I thought it would be bubblier.
Yeah,
he's got that Hank Hill ass.
I mean, it's I think the colored version of that background isn't like a gradient, it's like pink and purple with like glitter. I think that's how that goes. But yeah, anyways, sorry. The general is just kind of thinking to himself while looking out at the platoons ahead of him or whatever, the army coming at him, and just kind of thinking, what the hell does he want with the White Hawk or whatever? And this seems like such a stupid thing. Why are they even doing this? And blah, blah, blah. And it cuts to kind of like up on the castle looking from his point of view, the creepy pedophile dude. Does he have a name? I kind of don't want to keep...
I believe Genin.
Ganon, yeah.
Genin
or something. Okay, yeah. I just don't want to keep saying the word pedophile. It's making me uncomfortable. So Genin...
Yeah, I assume... Yeah, Genin, I guess.
Okay, so Genin is looking down, and he's kind of dreaming about the moment that he's going to be able to, like, fuck Griffith again, I guess.
Yep.
So for people who aren't following along, there's just this panel of him, like, speaking to himself with a naked Griffith kind of, like, in the background, somewhat behind him, as if, like, he's dreaming him or whatever, with, like, just his ass completely out and back turned sort of thing.
Hair blowing in the wind.
Yeah.
Sparkles around him.
He refers to him as a fine wine, an intoxicating phantom.
I swear I will have you once more,
lover. It's so creepy.
It's bad.
It's so fucking creepy. And then we go to the battle starting, essentially, with Griffith calling the charge. And I guess
fucking just such a dumb moment where Griffith looks at Guts and he's like, "Are you all right?" And Guts just swings his sword once as an answer. Griffith is kind of like, "What the fuck?" Like, that's not an answer, but cool. All right, let's go.
Yeah.
So dumb.
Yeah. I read that too, that he, like, swings the sword, like, near him or at him or something, like, not as, like, attacking, but, like,
yeah, you just,
like, look at this thing. Whoosh.
Yeah, I'm fine. Schwa.
Yeah. And Guts has kind of a moment thinking this is going to be my last battle under the banner with the Band of the Hawk, because as we talked about last time, he's leaving. This is his final mission or whatever that he's going to take on with the band.
Yeah. And then it's just like 5 chapters of fucking fighting.
Yeah, literally. All the same stuff applies as before. We get some real cool art. Starting off with, I really like the horse charging in. Like, all the horses look pretty basic, except you can tell which one is Guts, because on page 180, his horse is the one where his feet actually look like they're moving off of the page, while the others look like still images.
Yeah.
And, like, I don't know if necessarily this is a lazy man's, like, we can't afford to animate every horse to make it look like they're going in. But what I kind of feel like, because this is Miro we're talking about, and he definitely would, if he wanted to, animate more horses' feet to look like they're flying, is that Guts is kind of, like, excitedly leading the charge, just, like, going in.
Like him like taking off. Because he's stronger than everyone.
He wants to die. Like, honestly, he has a death wish. He wants to get in there. He wants to fight. And the others are normal dudes. Like, they're there to fight, but, like, they're not excited.
Even before Judo was like, I don't really want to take out this fortress.
Yeah.
Like, he's nervous as shit because, like, nobody's fucking, like, it's not like the other things where it's just, like, battles. It's like they've fucking tried to take this so many times.
Yeah.
And it just has, and like, nobody's come out on top.
Yeah, they're saying, like, this is different. This isn't, like, weird bands of mercenary fighting knights in the forest. Like, this is armies of countries have not been able to take this.
Yeah.
So I just kind of like the detail that Guts's horse is fucking flying in, and the rest kind of just look like they're standing still almost, or trotting.
Yeah. Or
and
maybe like it's just at the start, like they haven't.
Yeah, they haven't fully broke
something.
Yeah. And we get like some cool pages of exactly what you were saying before, of Guts' sword just like bending from
the curve. It gets me every time, dude. It doesn't get old.
This is definitely some of the best stuff of that too. There's a great on the bottom of page 184 when he meets up with is it the general or is it a
I think so.
It's hard to tell. Anyways, the general is also bending, like his weapon is also bending because he's winding up or whatever.
Yeah.
And
winding up for that big clash.
And like it's the perfect build up to the next page, which is also the end of chapter 2, page 185, where it's like the samurai clash in the middle, where like they kind of go past each other or whatever. Guts' helmet flies off, but like also the top of like the horns or something
Cuts the horns off the guy.
are cut off. Yeah, it's so fucking cool how they like. It's just a great image of they hit each other.
Yeah, and I think he like he's supposed like he hit Guts' helmet or something. I can't tell like.
No, the helmet's busted up. Yeah, for sure. It's falling apart.
Oh yeah, no. If you like on the start of chapter 3, you can see it's in like pieces.
Yeah.
Shit! I just noticed the. So you have Guts' helmet on the start of chapter 3, page 187.
Yeah.
Guts' helmet is in like pieces, and on the other side, the 2 horns are like flying through the air. I didn't notice that before.
Oh yeah,
cool.
they're spinning too. Again, you're using the opposite lines to indicate like a spinning. That's so cool. Fucking cool. Yeah. God damn, that's so cool. And it's made even more cool because then the follow-up is again the classic samurai pose of like after a showdown. There's an image of that takes up the 2 pages of them on opposite sides of each other, looking away from each other, and like Guts' helmet's gone. So it doesn't look like he took any damage, but we know that he did.
Yeah, like they're both fine for now.
Yeah. And that smirk, that's such a good smirk because it's not a like I'm happy or even excited or anything. It is like it's psychotic.
Yeah, dude. Like he has one fucking mood.
It is like
battle, and it's just like
it's like bloodlust before it overtakes somebody, because you know how like when bloodlust overtakes somebody, they're drawn as just being completely insane and like fucked up. This is like the beginning of it or something, and it's
this
weird.
Is like his normal battle mode.
This is him after shotgunning a couple beers before a night of going out to the club. Essentially. And then they make a weird decision of well, I guess it's not that weird of a decision. They have a cooldown here where after the big moment, the big clash, everybody kind of stops for a moment, and specifically the knights are saying like, oh, this might be kind of fucked up or whatever. And then it goes to rapist McRapey again.
Yeah. Well, because he's worried about like, man, they're fighting really hard. Like,
yeah.
What if my precious Griffith gets injured or killed?
I know what I'll do. I'll go on the battlefield.
Yeah.
It's the stupidest decision you could ever make as a noble. Ever. It just the gall of like the nobility to think that they have a place on a battlefield just because they have money. Ridiculous. Especially after he's theoretically seen what's going on. Like, why?
Yeah. Well, I could justify it if he thought there was like tactical mistakes if he was actually like intelligent as far as battlefield tactics
like
go.
A commander of some sort or something.
Yeah, and could recognize that they were fucking up, but instead he's just like, they're gonna fucking kill Griffith, and he just goes down to fuck up their plans. Like,
they're gonna kill my real doll. Like, it's so fucking stupid. It's so stupid. Anyways, I'm back on the battlefield. The plan starts to take shape because Guts was to lead the charge of everybody in, and then Griffith is going to pull everybody back to kind of make them chase them, essentially. It's kind of a bad plan. If you don't have a man who can kill an army by himself, you generally do not want to take your smaller, less experienced force and put them at a place where they can be slaughtered with no retreat. That's a bad idea.
Like, everybody works better under pressure, man.
That's literally his plan for like people following along at home. His plan is we're going to draw everybody back to the river and then we're going to fight harder because people don't want to die.
That's essentially it.
But the only reason this is going to work is because, again, they have a man that is a nuclear bomb with a sword.
And then we get to page 201.
Yeah.
That fucking classic, like, black and white guts just merging into lines.
Just turning into battle. He's not even becoming a person anymore. He's a battle now.
Dude, the page 202, 203 is so good.
Yeah, so
just
this,
like
this is what I mean. Miura knows how to do a group of dudes on horses if he wants to. Yeah, I really love this technique too. This is one that is a personal favorite of mine where you do like a wash of black of some sort. In this case, it's obviously like pen or ink or whatever. And then using white ink or an eraser if you're using pencil or something to draw using negative space. It's like a personal favorite thing of mine, and it works super well in a situation like this too, to just kind of give an off feel that isn't regular.
Yeah, and even like the white space at the edge of the page.
Yeah, to show the sky.
And it's just great.
It's a really, really good scene. Yeah. I still can't get over that Griffith's plan is, well, we have to win here or we all die. It's like, what a fucking moron. Are you kidding me? Sorry. Anyways. Back to the plan. We realize that Casca hasn't been here for any of this. And we see here her part of the plan. I think they talk about it like lightly. She's essentially going to be the one leading the charge into the actual fort as soon as they draw out the whole main army. So the idea here is that they're going to taunt them by battling a little bit in front of the gates, and then rather than giving them the opportunity when they start winning to retreat into the fortress themselves, and then there's no possible getting them, they bait them out so that their other half of the force, with Casca leading them, is able to storm the castle essentially and take it while they're hopefully not dying out in the battle.
Yeah. Big shout out to page 204 with that absolutely top tier silhouette of Casca.
Oh, I know. Oh my god.
So good.
It's so good. Yeah. It's like you know those like douchebag flaps or truck flap things of like the girl with like her leg bent or whatever in like a sexy pose. It's like if those were cool.
Not wrong.
And like with a cape, with a cloak.
Yeah, and like she has her sword and it's like feathers or something coming off of her armor.
I can't really tell what it is. Yeah.
Yeah, a bit later if you look, there's like feathers, I guess.
Holy wait. Hold on. Okay, good. Sorry. I was just about to say, have I not noticed that like all of the Band of the Hawk have like some hawk feathers or something? They don't. She's the only one. So I had to go back just to make sure that I haven't been blind.
Just completely missed that.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah, she storms the castle, but there's somebody waiting here.
Fucking Christ.
Yeah, add on the invincible with his play dead technique is here too.
Yeah, we get the I guess that's the title card is where we see his full. He's like looking out the window
Yeah, no.
On the last page.
At the end, after they storm the castle, she's like, wait, isn't that...
He looks so fucking, like, horrifying. Looking through that window, like, he looks crazy.
Yeah.
And then when we see him again
He's
on
such
page
an
210, he's, like, fucking donkey and weird. But his armor is nutty. It's, like, shark stuff. It's just
Did he change his armor? Because he was anglerfish before.
Yeah, he switches it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all like, there's literally like, okay, let's see. His helmet is a shark head with the mouth being his like visor slot.
Yep.
On each shoulder, there's a shark head.
Yep.
His fucking knee brace, like on his greaves or whatever, there's shark heads over each knee. And then the fucking chest piece is coming to a point to be a shark head.
Dude, you missed the best part. The pauldrons are shark heads looking up because the bracers have shark tails, so his arms are sharks.
Oh, fuck. I didn't even notice that his arm is the full shark.
His arm's a full shark.
So dumb. That's so fucking dumb.
It's so stupid.
And he has, like, on his chest piece, there's the fucking, it looks like tusks, but they're just shark fins, like, angled downwards.
Yeah.
It's just so stupid.
Yeah, what an absolute... Man, it must have been so fun that day designing. Like, whatever day they were just like, okay, we need to design, like, 5 armies or whatever. Let's fucking make them animals. Okay, well, this one could be like, what does a rhino look like in armor? What does a shark look like in armor? And stuff like, man, it must have been so fun for them to come up with this stuff. This picture is actually kind of dope though, because Casca is just like going up the stairs as well. And like, I don't know, it's a great looking picture, even though one of the characters is stupid as shit looking.
Yeah.
But I think that's why I like it. Also, I love that on the next page, her like expression just kind of says it all with like,
what's with that armor? Like, what the fuck?
She's literally saying, what's with the armor?
God. And he's like looking, his mouth is like open, and that's when we learn like he's missing like half of his teeth.
Yeah.
Like it's just gums.
He has been hit a lot in the head.
He's like 100%. I think it feels even more so in the anime, if I'm remembering right. But like he's definitely some of our like battlefield comedic relief.
Yeah,
because he's just so dumb.
I like that though. I'm a big fan. I think you need a little bit of that when stuff is so heavy.
Oh, totally.
Also at the bottom of this page, her expression of just like the no nose and like the mouth down, just kind of like looking like unimpressed or whatever. It's just great. Yeah. Good anime shit.
Yep.
Yeah. I guess it should go without saying that they're going to win this battle. However, there is a lot of blood and guts and maybe a few eyes. There's an eye. Yeah, there's an eye popping
totally. Yeah, there's an eye. He slices off another horn from the dude's armor, which goes spinning. That shit's cool. Their battle, actually, I'm like looking at their battle now. Like 217 onward.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at too.
That's good shit. I mean, it's like nothing we haven't really seen before.
Oh, like, yeah. The battle between the guts and the general. Another thing that they do really, really well is even they use Guts' cape in a lot of good ways to show how he's moving and like how he's swinging and stuff. Like the sword bends and stuff, and that's very cool too. But I really like it. Almost feels like the cape is used to also show some of that movement. Because I don't know why else you would have it if you're Guts. It seems like a tactical disadvantage to have something you could be grabbed on from easy.
Yeah, the only thing I can think of that he like uses it for, but I don't know how effective it would fucking be, is I think at the night of 100 men.
Yeah.
Right, he like uses it to like do some wonky shit with arrows.
Yeah.
Kinda stall them or deflect them. But I don't know how that would
sure.
work, like depending on the cape, I guess.
Yeah. He's also not human, so I get it.
Yeah, you know.
Not normal human, I should say. But this leads to one of the best parts, I thought, in this battle. I really like this scene of them fighting each other on horseback with like the lines everywhere showing that they're just like swinging so fast at each other
Yeah.
while riding around.
Yeah,
Now,
they're just like going in circles.
and like obviously I'm gonna enjoy this when we get to it, but does this read differently when you've seen the anime and you've seen like the moving version of these battles? Is this more or less impressive? Because I think there's a sense of speed that you get in the still images, because it's one of those things where I can't remember who said it, but the term like imagination has no budget or whatever, which is why you like always have reading stuff will always like be better than the movie essentially.
I think for stuff like this, it's a little more grounded, and it might be for budget reasons, but they tend to like when they go into like, I might be completely misremembering too, full disclosure, but from what I recall, they focus to show like Guts being a badass and like strong warriors. They focus more on like the raw power. So like instead of people being like, holy shit, you can't see their weapons, that's crazy. People are like, oh my god, like he was able to block that attack like with this, you know, huge axe and sword. And I think focusing more on that, because you still get the same end result a bit. You don't have to animate 18 million lines. Okay. No, I was just curious. Obviously this is probably something we're going to be talking about more in depth when we both watch it again, or you again, me for the first time. I think I'm going to also watch it with my girlfriend, which will be interesting. I'm going to get her take, so I'll like add in any flavor from somebody who doesn't even know what this is at all in it. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Oh no.
It's going to be interesting. We go back to Casca. I kind of wanted to gloss over it or whatever, but there's more of course, she's a woman, so he's saying how he's gonna love like fucking the shit out of her and raping her and stuff, like, because so every single character does it to her, every single one.
Yeah, like it gets into that, and I mean it's also a product of its time, kind of. Yeah, like, it doesn't make it good, but it just,
and the culture, just straight up.
Yeah.
It's a different place of the world, and they have different feelings towards women's places.
Yeah, and I think like if it were people, it's same shit with like Game of Thrones type stuff or whatever. When people are talking about like, oh, it's like fantasy realism or whatever, like in the real world, like this is what would happen to a woman or whatever. And I think now it's definitely like people are like, that doesn't fucking matter, I'm not doing it. Like I don't give a shit that it's what happens in real life or whatever. Like I'm just not going to include it because it's not necessary.
I think you can make allusions to it and make it part of your thing without explicitly having every male character
repeatedly doing it,
calling a character a fuck doll like every time. Yeah That's really the thing. It's not even necessarily oh my god, there's like no good way to say this. It's not necessarily that there's pedophilia and rape in this that bothers me. It's the gratuitousness of which they kind of use it as a crutch for like, see how bad these guys are, because bad guys are bad. Because like I'm not a moron. I know that rape happened, and like, I mean, it happens in these days. Of course, it happened in the Middle Ages. I know pedophilia happens, and I know that there's like bad people that do it and shit like that. But like, I don't need to see it all the time. You can get your point across without making me watch a child get like just like the worst moment of a child's life.
I think part of what I was actually thinking about this earlier, in context of like other parts of the manga, but it works just as well for like Genin, for example, right? The first time we see him.
Sure.
I think part of what makes it like a little bit or a lot of bit rough in this manga is that we are told and then shown and then told again and then shown again.
Yeah.
Like with Genin, we didn't need to be told that he kept boys as pleasure slaves.
Yeah, we get
it. Like, they could have shown the vacant-eyed boys around him. That would have been enough. Like, an informed reader will pick up on that shit.
Yep.
Alternatively, they could have had that line and then not showed all of the boys around him or something, or not repeatedly done it.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what happens. We get that, like, when I was thinking on it, I'm like, we get that repeatedly with other characters and other shit that happens.
Yeah.
Where they're like, wow, this person is really bad because he does all of these explicit things. And then we get to see him doing those things. And I'm like, I believed you.
Yeah.
You didn't need to prove it.
And this isn't a problem I have necessarily just with this manga. I also hate when they put a dog in a video game to kill it in the next scene. I hate just
totally.
It feels cheap manipulation. Like, in a way, the way that they do Guts's childhood and him being sold and raped, I don't love that scene in any way, but I think there is an importance to giving us a clear image of the trauma set by it, especially when they refer to it later on by showing a big figure in shadows that we obviously have like seen mirrored in his past. Like, I think stuff like that is important. I don't think you need to continuously call Casca a fuck doll. Like, we get it. She's a woman.
Yeah, like her backstory also having that, like, I mean, it's not good, but like,
yeah,
it is what it is, and like how that reflects on her as a person now and addressing that's fine, but like, you don't gotta keep doing it. There's no reason.
Yeah. Some of this anger specifically here isn't even necessarily at Adon. It's later. It gets kind of crazy.
Yeah. No, it's like, unfortunately, this is like the lighter version of this bullshit.
Yeah. So I just wanted to, like, I guess I'm just going to keep calling it out when it bugs me, because
totally.
It bugs me here, but not as bad. This whole part is kind of weird, though, because Adon's kind of like, wait, the last time we met up, like, I easily took you out, and now you're kicking the shit out of me. And then she's like, well, I had my period before.
Yeah, I mean, that little bit there is like kind of, I mean, it's like a little bit jokey.
Oh, totally.
She's like, wait, don't tell me you're on your period. And she's like, you didn't have to fucking say it.
And like, and the way they drew her.
And then like some of the guys like in the Band of the Hawk are like, oh, it was her period. Like, they didn't fucking get it, which we actually saw back after that point.
Yeah,
because they were like, oh, are you all right? And she's like, yeah, mine wasn't a wound. And like, Judo was the only one who fucking got it, because everyone else is dumb.
Yeah. I will say, compliment sandwich. Get something good, something bad, something good. Yeah. I really like that at this part, when they find out, they're not weirdly like toxic masculine, like, ew, gross, girls in periods. They're actually like, holy shit, she's awesome. Like, she's incredible. She was fighting on her period. Like, Jesus. Yeah. Like,
it's not, for as much as he like does all the fuck doll shit, like,
yeah,
the like,
She has respect of her comrades, which is nice.
Yeah, like the good guys are maybe infuriatingly so because we have to have like a black and white sort of take, but like the bad guys are fucking terrible, but the good guys are like how they should be.
The good guys
like
are
they're
pretty
not being
good.
gross.
Yeah. Yeah, no, totally. More fighting. I don't know.
Yeah.
This is why this episode was going to be weird for me to like really want to talk about just at all, because there is so much fighting, and it's one of those things that's like, you really should read this. You should be looking at this thing, and it's hard to get across in an audio format just how cool some of it is.
Yeah. And we get, I mean, this volume and the last chapter, this battle. Well, last chapter of the volume, chapter 4 of Battle for Doldrey, wraps up. We have Adon like
He tricked
doing
her.
his shitty family technique. The Resha Jinraya Furious Attack Thunderclap Burst, where he pretends to surrender and then shoots her with a fucking poisoned arrow.
Your evil deeds aren't at an end, you bitch.
Dude, that shit gets me every time.
It's just hilarious because he's like begging her for his life, and there's so many good moments of her face just being like, what? Or like the classic anime like surprise or whatever. And then he just like shoots her. It's such a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We do, I guess before that, because it leads into the next chapter / volume.
Yeah, go on. Yeah.
Guts is having his big clash.
Yeah.
And I love how he's like, man, this battle is like, it feels impossible. And then he thinks about Zod, Demon Boy, and he's like, nah, it's not that bad.
Yeah, no, there's a great moment where it's like anytime you get down, just remember how much worse it could be. It's like, oh yeah, that was pretty bad. Okay, let's do this.
Yeah. But we get that big clash, and then I think this is like the first time his sword gets like fucked.
Yeah, he went too hard, and his sword gets cut.
Oh, you know what he says? Because I was like, I feel like it was really fucked up while he was fighting, and he even said he thinks my sword was messed up from fighting those 100
men. Yeah,
he never repaired it or whatever.
Yeah, no, I like that distinction is made, that it's not this fight, it's the fact that sword has been in the biggest battles this land has ever seen.
And he just hasn't fucking repaired it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good shit. Because you're right, it does lead right into the next thing where we see like an image of something flailing out in the air, and we know that it's the other half of his sword, and we get this kind of cool moment of the characters that have distinction in their armor, aka the main characters of the Band of the Hawk, looking kind of worried. I don't know, surprised, I think is the term I'll use. At what's happening, and Guts kind of doing like a backflip and landing on his feet while is holding just what I have to imagine is still a good 150 pounds worth of steel, but half of his sword.
This sword is lighter. This sword isn't like unimaginably huge. Like,
yeah,
I think this sword, like, you or me could.
Oh yeah, you're right. This isn't Dragon Slayer. Yeah, no,
yeah,
you're
this
right.
isn't the huge thing. So this thing's like fine. I don't think either of us are swinging it well, but we're swinging it.
I think this one we're holding for sure. Yeah,
totally. Like if someone stood still in front of me, easy, easy win.
Yeah, it's like a classic claymore, I guess is the best way to, but a more broader
beef.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think it's doable. Also, it has a divot in the middle.
Yeah.
It's not just a chunk of steel, literally. It is a sword.
It's such a good sword design.
Yeah, it's super cool.
It's pretty simple overall, but like it's just cool.
Yeah, it's so good. And we get some just dope ass shots of Guts looking like a badass even though his sword is broken. Like, how many dudes could you see just looking awesome as fuck even though they like by all rights lost the duel?
We get a couple shots of Zod in there, but we leap back to Casca.
Yeah.
Probably one of my favorite battle moments for her.
Sure.
Like,
it's a great one.
So she's been poisoned, and just getting to see her being like realizing that if she moves around, like the drug gets worse.
Yeah.
And just her like thinking and being super conservative with her movements, and then like charging Adon and like the shot of her, the sequence of her flipping over him is fucking so cool.
Yeah, best way to describe it is she uses her sword like a what the hell is that? Just like, you know, an Olympic a pole vault, yeah, like a Olympic long jumper's pole vault, to spring herself up, doing a backflip over him, landing behind him, and
slashing,
just completely fucking up his day, or his face specifically. we get the you want to see how I got these scars type Joker shit
just
from him
through his mouth.
Yeah, it's pretty dope.
I love the shot on top of that page, on page 15, where it's like him and he has his sort of trident pike thing, and it's her with the sword is curving a little bit. I think that's the first time for her.
And it has blood
that I can remember
drawn from it.
Just on the tip, like streaking behind it. It's such a cool angle.
Yeah, it's so good. It's he has big Ganon energy here, like from Legend of Zelda or something. It's just that he's sturdy looking with the cape and the spear.
So I want to try my hand at a little art analysis.
Yeah.
Am I correct? Because the characters here both look very static, and even the sword looks very static.
Yeah.
But the shadows are like, they have those funky lines going on that we usually associate with movement. So is he like is he making it so the shadows like convey the movement while still being able to draw them like perfectly still? So that's kind of what I'm getting from it.
I could see that. I'm kind of reading this as like what's the best way to describe it? It's so hard to, I keep going to the well because it's I mean, they're samurai movies, so Japanese influences or whatever. But again, that moment after like a samurai duel where there's something happens and there's like a shing sound or something, and then it just time is frozen for half a second. I feel like it's that moment. Yeah.
Okay.
Because like even the blood in the air is like,
dude, it's so
still streaking and not falling.
It's so good.
Yeah, it's so fucking cool. This is like the type of scene that you would want like a little diorama of or something to put on your shelf. It's one of her better ones. This whole thing has made me realize, so there was a time where I watched Naruto, and I really wanted to like Sakura, and I couldn't because she's the most useless fucking woman character I've ever seen. But Casca is exactly what I wanted from her. To just be like this badass ninja girl in this like world full of men, and she isn't that, but Casca is definitely that. And like, this is one of those scenes that there's no one else here helping her. This is the one time there's not Guts or Griffith or any, there's not even a mention of them Like, this is all her on her own, just taking the dude out, and it's so fucking awesome. Even in, like, the worst condition of just being, like, poisoned.
Fucking poisoned.
Obviously, like, in pain from being shot, I'm sure. It's great. And then she's like, yeah, like, dude's dead. Fucking finish him off, boys. We got that awesome scene of, like, the background dudes holding up their swords and charging in.
Yeah.
Good shit.
It's real good.
Yeah.
That pivot back to guts.
But back to guts, yeah.
The important thing here is that, I mean, the general charges him, right?
Yeah,
like,
the general's still on his horse here.
Yeah, and he has his weapon is at full capacity and all that shit.
Yeah.
And then he fucking cleaves 4 dudes in half as he's like,
Yeah.
like some of Guts. What's the word I'm looking for? I guess like platoon or whatever. Like some of the squad boys are like, we gotta protect the captain, and he fucking cuts all 4 of them in half in a swing, and it's just him charging with his horse looking fucking insane. And their torsos are just in midair. Well, sorry, 4 torsos in a head, or 3 torsos in a head.
My favorite part about this image in specific is that there's half of a man still riding his horse behind him in the bottom right.
Yeah, with like
guts flying out.
Just
not
exploding.
Not the character, like intestines.
Yeah.
Yeah, gotta make that distinction. And then, it ends in like another panel with them just kind of flopping.
The next panel where they're all like crashing down. And like...
The next page is so good.
Oh, man, yeah, no, the fucking... Well, we get... That's, Zod, I guess.
Yeah, I guess we know that kind of. We have a feeling that Zod has some impact here because we've seen kind of shadows of at least something that looks like him.
Yeah, he's been like chilling on a cliff.
Yeah.
Watching this whole shit go down. But yeah, we get that thing of just his arm, just an angle.
Just all these muscles that the muscles and the veins just popping out.
And then
with cool like background lines, just like, I don't know, that whole image is really awesome.
Yeah, it is very good.
Anyway, he throws his sword down to Guts and
it. Dude, that sword is so fucking cool.
Yeah,
it's some video game shit.
It is a video game. It's best way to describe. Like, it's the type of sword that you see the barbarian class using, just almost like a meat cleaver, but long with like a pointed like concave end or something. It's hard to describe, but
and like the back half is serrated for no fucking reason, and the pommel has like spikes on it. Like a dumb video game sword.
Yeah. When you're reading this, like, I'll describe to you how I read this. And I want to see if it's the same for you. I actually, while I'm reading this, go through it really quickly because I feel like there's a kinetic energy to how it's drawn where I'm almost seeing it move as I'm like moving from panel to panel with my eyes. So the reason why I bring this up is because starting from page 23, I see in my mind him like grabbing the sword, the noticeable like the eye thing or whatever from the general, and then the next scene is like him swinging down and like trying to do another attack that he blocks on his back or whatever. Like all of this stuff I like read in a matter of like a couple seconds because it just flows so well. And then after like everything's done, I'll quickly go back and look at every picture like in detail.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty much how I take this in, because like it's all like, yeah, it moves you forward, and it's all like, for some of the story stuff and everything, like it's very compelling.
Yeah.
So I don't skim. It's not like I'm missing shit, but like I'll fly through and kind of focus more on the dialogue and that sort of shit, and like take in the actions, but let my imagination do a lot of the lifting, and then I'll roll back and like sink into some of the shit because it's ridiculous.
He gives you natural stopping points too. Like I feel from page 20 to 24 should be read in a matter of less than a minute total, like the first time, to get kind of the feel of how it goes. And then 24, he uses a giant double image to kind of give you, the reader, a moment to just to notice that this is a big image. There's a lot of stuff going on here. This is the natural stopping point for this scene for me to like see everything that's going on here, because everything else, anytime he uses little panels and stuff in the way they're kind of interlaid on top of each other, I get the feeling that these are meant to be within quick succession of each other, because these are all things happening, I don't know, within like a couple seconds on film, essentially, if it was recorded.
Yeah.
But so, yeah, this is all just a long-winded way to say I really like that he uses the big images to tell me, the dumb virgin manga reader, that this is where I'm supposed to stop for a second and take it in.
Yeah. This is where you're supposed to just really lean back and just really enjoy the fact that he fucking beheaded the guy and the horse.
I was about to say, this is the point where you're supposed to realize, oh, that horse got fucked too.
It was an evil horse, man.
Yeah, I mean, that horse hailed Hitler more than a few times, so I'm glad he's dead.
And we, with the death of the general, we get to, like, they look and see that they've also, like, the Band of the Hawk has also taken the fortress. We get that fucking cool shot of Casca, like, someone's helping her, like, stand because she's still fucking, like, poisoned.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't even
like
consider
bleeding.
that the first time, but you're right, yeah. She's not doing well.
But they fucking did it.
Yeah. Oh, it's so good. Such a good scene. The battle's still not over, believe it or not, though, because pedophile dude who has been here but not here, not really doing anything important, is still here. And now he's the one trying to rally the troops, saying, like, what are you guys doing? Like, it doesn't matter that the general's dead. Fucking attack them.
Yeah. God. And then he fucking sees Griffith.
Yeah.
In the chaos, he, like, kicks back. He's, like, trying to fucking grovel. I mean, I don't love it. That's bad phrasing.
Yeah.
But, like, the fact that he's, like, surely you haven't forgotten that night. Like, he thinks Griffith gives a fuck about him at all.
Yeah.
And it's like, my dude, like,
how does somebody who doesn't care suck such a mean dick?
that's the secret. You gotta be aloof.
Dude, ask my ex, because I don't know. Boy, that bitch hated me. But yeah, he's groveling on the floor, and I love that he thinks that they had a moment and that it wasn't just for money or something.
Man, and his it's like the dude Genin being like, you don't resent me, and Griffith just fucking annihilates him.
Oh,
and he's like,
yeah.
Resentment, endearment, nothing.
Yeah.
I have zero emotional interest in you in any way. Like,
yeah. I love
you were
it.
a stone lying by the side of the path I walk. That and nothing more.
Oh my god, it's
and
so
then
good.
He fucking stabs him.
It's so good. Just
and he's
like
not
right
even
in the
stabbing.
eye.
Yeah, just right through the eye.
And
I love that he's not even stabbing him. Like, again, he feels nothing, but he's like, nah, if you like started spreading shit about me, that wouldn't be good. So,
Right.
oh well.
It is important to remind just everybody, Griffith still has his plan. Like, he's not taking this battle for the good of humanity, the kingdom, or anything. This is a stepping stone for him to achieve his dream. I don't know why. I just feel like it's really, really important to remind people that none of this is for charity. There's a reason why Griffith and like the Band of the Hut, he is sacrificing all of his men for something. I don't remember if we even know exactly what it is yet. We just know that it's grand ambition because we haven't.
Yeah, no, I mean, clearly he wants to like have he wants to go as far as he can, basically.
Yeah.
Like, and I mean, that's the king, baby. That's why he's like,
yep.
Sees Charlotte and he's like, oh, hey.
I have a theory here, and I don't know the answer to this because up to where I've read even because I don't really touch on it. I kind of have the theory that Griffith doesn't ever have a stopping point. Even King wouldn't be good enough. You know what I mean? He's the type of person that like the ambition is the drug and that he's overdosing on it. It doesn't matter what the end result is. It's the fact that he's trying to get there. And I don't know if that like rings true at all. I guess I'll figure that out more as we kind of go into stuff because it's obvious he wants, I mean, just straight, I guess spoilers. He wants a kingdom is like the thing he says at some point.
That's not spoilers.
It's kind of obvious. But like,
if you're not picking that up by now, I don't know what you're reading.
Yeah.
Kind of like.
But I kind of.
Yeah, no, he wants the whole shebang.
I kind of expect that like that's what he's saying, but realistically, he is kind of the personification of unbridled ambition and like not necessarily greed, but greed. Like it's never going to be enough. And
I mean, certainly at this point, like we don't know.
Right. But I mean, I also have this idea that whatever he's become as Femto might not be enough for him either. That's what I'm kind of getting at. Because he's just he's an archetype, but more importantly, I think he's a personification of a feeling or an idea. I think all of these characters are in their own way.
Yeah.
Most importantly, though, page 46, Gut says, yo.
Yeah, I've been sitting on it. I've been sitting on him. Yo, tough day. This is a big dumb sword.
I love that we see here also just how much their relationship has changed, where she's happy to see him.
Yeah. He's like, oh shit, what's wrong? She's like, it's just a scratch. Or that's what I'd like to say. Could you give me a hand?
Yeah.
It's so good.
It's so good.
So fucking good.
Also, she looks drunk.
She's like had a bad night.
Yeah.
Her and the boys got a little wasted.
Yeah. She starts crying. He helps her and they kind of look over on the battlefield. And she starts crying because she notices Griffith, and she's sad that she feels he doesn't exist on the same plane as her, or I guess anybody there really,
that he exists somewhere like far away. I think it's just like she I mean, he putting it on a pedestal is like a fucking understatement.
Totally.
Like,
yeah.
She has him on this entirely different level.
Yeah.
And
yeah. This is great because the way Guts kind of breaks her out of it or whatever, and her being mopey, is that you can kind of see the beginning of it where he has his sword in the hand that's behind her back, and he uses it to like trip her and scoop her off her feet to carry her down there.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know, it's so like suave.
It's incredibly suave, and it's great because like he doesn't give a shit about it in that way at all. But then we get that little panel of fucking Casca has like the little glitter around her, like above her, and she's like, oh,
she's like, the international sign for swooning is happening. Yeah. And honestly, I mean, I'm rock hard just looking at the panel. So yeah, I get it. I totally get it.
Also, she's like, I don't think she's actually so much smaller than Guts as far as like height goes, but she looks fucking tiny in his arms.
Yeah, she is
Like-
definitely, I guess what you might call a petite woman in this world. Like,
Yeah. Well, I mean, Guts is also just a fucking monster.
Guts
of
is a
human.
monster. Yeah. Speaking of monsters, we end off the chapter with Zod kind of looking at, I guess, the situation from whatever cliffside he's on, and he just thinks to himself, the eclipse will come soon and the demon event approaches. And he walks off into the sunset with a sandstorm kind of like picking up or whatever in his wake.
Yep.
It's a great ending to what was a lot of battle. Because I thought this was important because this reminded me personally reading this that, oh yeah, there's demons and shit here.
Like, this shit gets unhinged.
Because they're like, besides the Zod stuff in here, we haven't seen any demon shit for like multiple volumes now. I honestly, when reading through it before they started showing Zod on the like looking down the battlefield and him helping out with the fight, I kind of forgot that there's supernatural shit going on. Period. In this,
I'll tell you, going through it, this is like part of the why this manga and even like the anime is so crazy to me. Every fucking time you go through it, like for me, you just forget that there's demons. Or not forget, but like you get completely sucked into the whole like medieval battle shit, and then like what we kind of start in with the next chapter, like some of the court,
the like
intrigues,
politics,
and like it just completely sucks you in, and then at a certain point you're just like, oh right, like there were fucking demons. That's a thing.
Lots of them.
Yeah, and that's what I still see people. I've enjoyed going, like, I don't participate in the subreddit, but I love reading through it.
Yeah.
The sheer amount of people who don't get that, like, this whole thing starts in media res, like,
oh yeah,
or they watch the anime and then they go to the manga and they're like, is this like incorrect? Is there something wrong with my volume? And they don't know that you're supposed to get like 3 volumes of demon shit before flashing back. And the amount of people who are like suggesting to start like from the Golden Age arc. And I just their argument is that it makes the demon shit more like of an impact because you don't know. And
I can kind of see that.
I can kind of appreciate it a little bit because like I started with the anime, right?
Oh yeah.
And there's even in there though, they don't start you from nothing. Like you get a little bit of the demon, but it's not the full like 3-volume shit. It's very toned down.
Sure.
But like there's so much shit that's important for seeing those volumes. Like there's just so much that you would lose by not starting. I just don't get how people can ignore that.
Like if nothing else, I think the way they introduce the God Hand and the oh my god, what the hell is it called? The thing that summons them. It's been so long since we've
Beharit.
Yeah, the Beharit.
Behalit, whatever.
Yeah.
Your preference.
The fact that like you don't know any of that stuff, or the fact that like there's something going on with Griffith that he will become this thing. There's a dark undertone to all of the Golden Age so far that Mira obviously wanted you to have in your mind.
Yeah.
So like why would you deny the way he did it? Just read it the way he wrote it, dude.
I think it definitely gives this an undertone, like I've said before, that sense of futility, right? And I think part of what makes it crazy is how good it is. Just like, you know, having a twist happen, or like in this case, demons emerging from this medieval fantasy. That's great. But like knowing that demons come, and still being like, holy fuck, like there's something to that. No, like. We know something happened, like Guts isn't in the first 3 volumes screaming Griffith for no reason.
Right.
But the fact that it's still good knowing that something's going down is... Yeah.
Yeah, it's super important.
People need to just read it in order. I hate that they don't.
Yeah, it's... I kind of... So, this is kind of a non sequitur to everything. I have the same problem with people that say you should watch Star Wars movies a certain way. The reason being is that if you're making excuses for something, either good or bad, you're not taking in the way the creator wanted you to take it in anyways, so your opinion on it doesn't matter. So if you're like... The thing is that it's a little weirder with Star Wars, because depending on... That series goes in such a long gap of time that, like, everybody... just kind of naturally probably started at some different point in it. But like Mira made the first 3 chapters specifically for a reason. So if you don't like that, that's fine, but that is his decision and you should just not like it. You shouldn't get other people maybe to like perhaps not enjoy it the way that the creator wanted them to enjoy it just because you didn't enjoy it. This isn't so much for people that are asking where to start because they're innocent, whatever. It's the people that say anything other than you should just read it from the beginning or watch the anime. Like, it doesn't matter where you start in the medium you choose, but you shouldn't pick and choose, I think, or at least tell people to pick and choose.
Yeah, and like for the most part, like I see people saying, nope, that's like, you're not wrong. Your volume's fine. It starts off with this and then goes back.
Yeah.
It's just one or two people across however many different threads where they're like, in my opinion, it starts there, but it's stupid. And I'm like, nope.
And like, the thing is, that opinion's fine to have, but the other person should read it that way and make the decision that they like. They should make that decision naturally.
I mean, the thing is, the people who are giving that, what I will say is the incorrect opinion.
Okay.
They probably didn't read it that way the first time, you know? They also probably just read through, and then they're saying, wait, I would have liked it better if it did this. And then they're just telling the other people based on that. Which, like, if you're going through this a second time, and you want to start with the Golden Age shit,
fine,
go for it.
Totally.
Like, that's totally valid. But, like, I don't...
I'm also very much the type of person that I want it the way it was intended, even if it means that I hate the thing, because then I know that I'll hate it because it was the vision of the creator for me to hate it. And I didn't hate it because I read it wrong or something. Anyways,
totally.
We got I think that's an important conversation to have, but we still have more to talk about.
Yeah, I know we're not done yet.
Okay, this is kind of quick, though. We go back. Now there's politics here, so the war technically isn't over, because now that Griffith has won the day and everybody loves him, there's a group of people conspiring to have him killed because they do not want a commoner as a knight, a nobleman, a soldier, any of this shit. They don't want to be outshone. It's classic, just like, he is a commoner, we should kill him bullshit.
Yeah.
But most importantly, their main conspirer is the queen.
Yeah. So Minister Foss is doing a lot of talking. The little dude we saw way earlier, who was like clearly scheming shit.
Yeah.
Is like suggesting that they poison him and doing all this stuff. And then people are like, but how, like, that's not gonna work. How do we do blah blah blah? And then like the queen steps out.
Yeah,
It's a good reveal.
it is cool.
It's like
They're saying, how do we do it? Oh, easy, we poison it. Well, how the hell, like, how are we gonna do this or whatever? Oh, we have a co-conspirator, you know, the second most powerful person in the land here.
Can we talk about in her reveal how stupidly fucking detailed her dress is?
Yeah.
The little fucking lines throughout all of it. It's so goddamn detailed.
I'm gonna say some like boomer shit about me, but
Yeah.
my brain is ruined because I'm used to Photoshop. You can copy and paste shit. It takes me a second to step back and remember every piece of detail in this was hand drawn.
Yeah, dude.
Like her dress could be copy and pasted over and over and it would probably have the same effect or a similar effect, but this was done in like what, 87 or something, 88.
By this point it was like
90s probably.
Yeah, like early mid 90s.
Okay, so yeah, all hand drawn.
Yeah.
Probably some techniques of like overlaying a transparent thing and like he probably didn't just eyeball all of it, but maybe he did. You never know. It's crazy.
Either way.
Also, she has that Snow White evil queen shit going on.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
Classic villain look. Very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, every like the townspeople are like fucking freaking out, right?
Yeah.
Because like they're victorious. The 100-Year War is like ended.
We get a great Casca face on page 67.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that's like totally so like part of the stuff that influenced Mira, like that Kaze whatever boarding school terrible manga I read.
Yeah.
And like Rose of Versailles and stuff.
Yeah.
That me and Hank just went through. And it's totally like a Rose of Versailles thing. Like you have your lady warrior and then you have all the like other ladies like freaking out.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So they're like, Miss Casca, look this way. And they're just like obsessed.
Yeah.
Classic.
Yeah. Yeah, this is great shit. I really also love that you can like there's just random cheers of like, there's Captain Guts. I heard he beat General Boscong or whatever. Like, yeah, I don't know. I just like things like that kind of build out a scene in a one panel, essentially.
Yeah.
So yeah, they have it. Their triumphant ride into town. Princess Charlotte notices that the crew is back, and she has a little conniption when she sees Griffith and is super excited. And yeah, just more evil queen shit. Just being like, well, he will die tonight. Mwahaha, sort of bullshit.
Yeah.
So stupid.
Or even more stupidly detailed dress with like feathers and shit. Just so unnecessary.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they're talking like Foss gets a letter and is like freaking out.
Yeah. But we don't find out why here.
Yeah, no, he's just like, you bastard, and everyone's like,
What?
what's up? He's like, oh, it's cool. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, don't worry. We got it. So next chapter, we're in the ballroom. It is hilarious seeing Guts in his like formal attire.
Dude, we get like in this like in the coming sections and stuff, we get some top-notch Guts outfits.
Yeah.
But yeah, him in like I mean, everybody like Pippin's in a giant fucking thing. Even Griffith like in his coat. Like everybody's just like decked out, and it's funny as hell.
Yeah, it's very silly.
Why can't I think of the dude's name who wanted to rob Guts like when they first met, and he's like constantly saying like big sis Casca and stuff.
Yo.
He's in like a pilgrim outfit.
Yo, yeah, I can't remember either. He is like the one out of the crew that actually has some of the most time that isn't like an important character.
Yeah.
And I also don't remember.
Like, because he's like just in the, he's definitely like on the merc side of things, right? Like,
yeah,
he wants
a
the
thief.
money and he wants the glory.
Yep. Yeah, straight up mercenary. I guess we find out later he was a thief specifically turned mercenary. But
yeah.
So, but like, it doesn't matter that we're told that. We knew.
Yeah. Yeah. Everybody's talking about how much pussy they're gonna get, except Griffith takes literally all of it from everyone.
Yeah, it's so good.
Send at least one this way. They tried to swarm Guts, but he's not having any of that shit.
Yeah, he just walks away. It's like, you guys take it from here. They're all like, yeah, all right.
Yeah, but it's like a classic soldiers in the court scene sort of deal. They're just like they like it, but they're out of their element completely.
Totally. Speaking of out of their element, Casca in a dress is the weirdest shit.
It's so weird, but like it's so great also.
So this is a trope I really love. I really love tomboyish women when they're like dressed up really like frilly like this, but they're like not different. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I don't know why it is. It's just this is great. It's weird that it looks like a wedding dress though to me, because it's pure white with like very little. What's it called? I don't know what. It's not filigree, but there's like the other women have dresses where they have like different cloths kind of interwoven or something.
Yeah,
hers is very regal.
I don't know that there's anything to suggest it.
Okay.
The anime has it as yellow.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if that's coming from anywhere specific.
Okay, this is something I wouldn't know.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know if that counts as a spoiler. But like,
no. That's fine.
Without like seeing it as white, yeah, it's. I think they're just even for like. I'm going back here, looking at some of these other dresses. Like, they don't like shade any of them.
Yeah.
So it's hard to tell. Like, I'm sure there's a lot of like blues and pinks and whatever the fuck, but yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, she has like hers is. I mean, like in her headpiece, there's like all those little flowers and like berries and looking shit on it.
Yeah.
And then Guts is just like looking at her. He's like, I didn't know you were into. And then she fucking elbows his jaw.
It's
that panel is 10 out of 10.
Yeah, page 85 for people that actually are following along. It's so good. Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, that's a great one. They have the kind of the classic soldier talk of a much more he literally says it here, a much more comfortable swinging a sword, or she says it or whatever. So it's like, yeah. Okay. There's some cool shit here though. I really like that. I mean, I'll just read what she says. I guess I should try things I'm not used to. Revealing clothes like this make me feel I'll catch a cold. Thinking about it, it's been years since I last wore a skirt. I'm so much more muscular now. Just like, I kind of like those weird little details of like, yeah, she's still a woman. Like, she still wants to look pretty in a dress or whatever. And like, maybe not necessarily wants to be muscular.
I mean, I guess you could interpret it a different way, but I love that she's like, revealing clothes like this make me feel like I'll catch a cold. It's not about like, I don't know, like, oh, showing off assets. It's about like, I'm gonna get sick.
It's a tactical disadvantage to be wearing this or something. Yeah, also the fact that she finds it revealing, it's a pretty standard like full dress with
look at in that same panel on 86, like you can see the tiniest little bit of boob line.
Well, that
above the bow, revealing.
Yeah. Yeah, no, like it definitely bears her shoulders and like neck and like upper chest, but that's it.
Sucker for bearing shoulders.
Totally.
I
Yeah,
won't lie,
I'm with
man.
you. No, totally.
Top tier.
Totally. I'm with you 100%. I mean, it's the reason I like tank tops, even though I don't think they're supposed to be sexy. Yeah, they just have a conversation about what's been going on, the fact that Guts is done with them, and that was kind of it, or whatnot. And it's all interrupted by the king showing up and people clamoring for him. So they're going to go in, or at least Casca is, and Guts says he's going to chill out for a while because it's stuffy in there. He doesn't like any of that shit. He's just going to sit out in the
Yeah.
cold air or whatever. I get it, dude. I hate it. I don't know.
Dude,
you seem like a party
100%.
goer, but anytime I have to go to like an event or something, I'm the one going out. That's why I used to smoke. And like that was part of it. Like it was a good excuse to not be around people.
Dude, when I was younger, even at like school dances and shit,
Yeah.
like I would
Getting
just
drunk
hang
with
out
the
and
boys.
like for some of those, I was definitely just being angsty to be angsty.
Sure. Yeah.
But
yeah.
like there were times that I was just like chilling. I was just happy, like sitting off and watching people doing whatever. And like sometimes people would come like, dude, are you okay? I'm like, I'm fine. Just hanging out.
Yeah.
I get it.
Guts is about to say, like, hold on a second to her. And she stops and he says, no, never mind. We get kind of this inner dialogue that there's a reason why he's here.
Yeah.
But we don't know
down.
what yet.
Yeah, the king is talking.
Yeah, he's making his
King
speech.
pops up.
Charlotte comes out.
He gives them their new title, the White Phoenix General Griffith and the White Phoenix Knights. Like they
Yep.
all get knighted.
The highest
the current
ennoblement.
eunuch- Yeah. Mm-hmm. All the commanders and shit, without exception, to raise them to whatever.
Yeah.
On page 96, we
It's-
get like one of the most important fucking pages of the entire goddamn manga.
It's the best page. It's so fucking good.
It's absolutely delightful.
God, I
Just
want to fuck
Guts
Griffith's face.
Griffith looking into each other's eyes.
Yeah. It is, I don't know if it's the last moment. It is one of the way that this is framed is really cool. Not only because like their facial expressions and them looking at each other, but the fact that it shows Guts in the dark out by himself, like outside, and Griffith inside with the nobility behind him and stuff. Like it just kind of perfectly encapsulates who they are and kind of who they are always going to be, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's such a good shot. Also, it's just the type of thing that you would see on like a teen like romance novel or something.
Oh, totally. Like this is some fucking like shonen-ai shit or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like if this was a different manga, I'd be expecting these two to bone down within the next chapter.
I mean, I'm disappointed they don't. Spoilers. To a toast to our heroes. We see somebody putting in the poison that we saw earlier in the vial into a cup and giving it to Griffith. Birth of our young new heroes, the shiny future of Midland, and there's just kind of the slow panel by panel, like Griffith putting up the cup to his lips, and then it's smashed on the ground, and everybody looking startled as he kind of falls and collapses.
Oh, sorry, you meant to say putting the cup delicately to his plump, moist, soft, supple lips.
Yeah, exactly.
As he parts them slowly.
But not too slow.
Fucking,
Not too slow. A little faster.
it's such a fucking shot.
Yeah. This
But yeah,
part I could almost like, I don't know. This part also I kind of like saw almost in a video with like a heartbeat going as like the sound effects or whatever, and then just everything going silent, and the only sound is the cup smashing against the ground.
Page 105 is like super cool. I love the like light floor reflections we get,
using the negative like white space as a reflection on the darkened floor. It's very, very cool. Yeah, because usually it's the opposite, right? You use darkness for shadows, so the light showing that it's not shadow but reflection is very, very cool.
It's really good.
Yeah, it's good shit. Screaming Griffith. Charlotte looks upset.
Yeah, it's like your standard everybody freaking out, and then we learn that Guts is gone and is changed into like what would you do? Like a musketeer Guts?
Yeah.
Or fucking like I don't know, man.
Yeah, like Zorro or something.
Yeah, it's a fucking top tier outfit. He has like the super wide hat with a feather.
Yeah.
And his cape is like coming over, like he's moved it into, keep wanting to say poncho, but not that. Like a full cloak, I guess.
Yeah.
It's like part of it spread. It's good.
Yeah, it's so fucking good. I really like the cut from us noticing that. So all this shit's happening, all these people around, and Casca holding Griffith and crying or whatever, and we see where Guts was just empty. And then it just kind of shows like the dude who poisoned the cup riding away, and Guts standing in the middle of the road in front of him. And just the next thing you see is the sword swing, and you just know this guy's dead before you even look at the other panels.
Yep.
And yeah, sure enough, cuts his head off. Just one clean swipe.
And we cut back to all the nobles. Well, all the conspirators with the queen. Fucking Foss is...
Yeah.
He's sweaty. That guy is moist.
Yeah, we've seen him a few times in some of the other like panels randomly, and he has been sweating up a storm, so nothing's changed there. But yeah, they're all in the tower that they kind of were in before, I think, where they're all around a table chatting.
Yeah. And then we learned that Foss has blocked the door, and if not him, then someone else has ignited the place.
Yeah, just, I guess they see smoke coming up through the floorboards, and do they smell it or whatever? No, they
I don't
really
know if
say
it's
anything.
coming up or if it... I think it's smoke coming through the... what's this smoke? So it's coming up through the
floorboards. They try to open the door. It's blocked.
Nothing.
And then, if anybody that's played Capcom games from the SNES, that like effect of someone being on fire where you just kind of see like the outline of them with a bunch of lines around them to show that they're like engulfed in flame. It just shows them all burning up in the next scene, and it's so cool.
Yeah. And we get the great like eye shots of someone looking at Griffith, realizing they've been absolutely fucking played.
Yeah.
I love the classic, like, they're far up. Like, they're far up in this fucking building.
Yeah.
It's a very tall, narrow building.
They're in a tower.
And
it's called Tower of Flame, I think, right? This chapter.
Mine, Tombstone of Flame.
Tombstone of Flame, yeah.
But it's still, like, it's a tower, yeah.
Yeah.
And she's, like, yelling. And, like, we see Griffith responding to her, but he's just, like, talking normally. Like, he's just... It's almost like they're doing a thing where, like, they can't actually hear each other, but they're just having them like think out loud in sync or something.
Yeah.
But it's real good.
Yeah. On page 123, her like realization that everything has fallen apart, and just kind of the last desperate plea almost of trying to keep things together or have some sort of authority. I really love that scene of her, like, she has no iris anymore. It's just like a pin pupil and just the clenched teeth and the sweating, the vein popping out. It's just so cool, especially when
This,
in contrast to Griffith being like a porcelain doll right below her.
I mean, this chapter is like 90% eyes.
Totally.
Like, that's all that matters. We get Griffith saying those who die on the battlefield are not royalty, nobility, or commoners. They are the defeated who die.
Yeah.
Like,
she's nothing. She lost.
Yeah,
like
she's dead.
Yeah, this is war. You're not a queen. You're
Foss?
dead. You're a loser.
Foss asking how Griffith knew about it, and he's like, I looked into your eyes that one time.
Yeah, we get kind of the like replay, essentially.
I actually love his, I mean, page 128, fucking incredible in like 10 different ways.
He's like reading his mind or something.
Yeah, and just talking about like the fact that what he saw in Foss was fear, and then that bottom panel where Griffith's just black with two glowing eyes. When a man is faced with something he truly fears, he cannot ignore it. He has two options. He can become subordinate and fall under its wing, or he can strike it out and erase the fear. So just that read is fucking crazy. Like, Griffith is terrifying.
Yeah, he is. This is so obviously we're supposed to feel uneasy about him, even though like he's played off as very charming, charismatic, or whatever. By the way, serial killers are all charming and charismatic, so keep that in mind. This is like the first time that we really see, oh, he is actually evil, probably. In some way.
Yeah, he's
capable of it.
He doesn't give a shit.
Yeah, and Foss just like saying that he's dreadful or whatever. And and he's not even trembling because like of he's scared of Griffith. He's not trembling because he betrayed the comrades or that he was an accomplice to murdering royalty. It's he just trembling because this man is fucked.
And then Griffith goes right back to like being, he's like, I hope we can be amicable henceforth. Like this.
With his
smile.
uwu eyes. Uwu.
Yeah, his little cutesy smile.
Thanks for helping me kill the queen, uwu.
You can have your family back.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Yeah, he definitely kidnapped Foss's, or hired people like kidnap his wife and kid.
This part's so evil too. He pays them and then gets Guts to kill them.
He pays them. They roll out. Guts slaughters them. And then Griffith is even like, no, the money's theirs. Leave it there.
Yeah.
Like, don't take it.
Dude, it's so fucking evil though. Man.
And
but
then,
like,
I love that he's asked Guts, like, is it evil? Is it cruel? Like, I involved you in this.
Does it seem cruel?
I didn't even do the dirty work. And Guts is like, idiot. What kind of question's that for someone who killed 100 guys?
Yeah.
So
I really like this whole scene too. I mean, he literally says, ain't this a part of the path to your dream? Don't you believe? Like, he's there to help him achieve his dream. Like, as long as he believes it, he's gonna do it. Like, sure, whatever.
Yeah, like, this is part of the path to your dream. Like, so you can't just fucking think about this shit.
Yeah,
it is what it is.
I definitely feel like I need to also clarify the reason he has them killed is not because he's evil. He is making sure that nobody can talk about what happened.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. He's not leaving anything remotely close to a loose end.
Chance. Yeah. The only loose end here is Guts. And like, he's kind of not a loose end because he's
not a loose end at all.
No.
Dude, that fucking the back pat.
Yeah.
The back pat with Griffith like getting a bit of an anime shit or like a little cutesy face. Pretty fucking good.
Yeah. I know this is where we said we were going to stop. We should move on. Let's just do the next chapter because it kind of ends this arc better. If that's okay. Are you good?
Yeah.
One snowy night.
Yeah, one snowy night. Yeah.
Because they kind of end off this chapter. This is where we were going to stop the podcast for now. But they end off this chapter saying, like, we got to get back to Casca and, like, it'll be quite a sight to see you or that, see her in a dress or whatever. And so they show up. Casca is freaking out and hugging him, and everybody's like, "What's going on? What happened to you?" Guts walks off, and we get a little bit more of him packing up. Like, this is the chapter where he is leaving, which is why I think it's important we get this out of the way.
Yeah. One month later.
Yeah.
I mean, he's packing up. He sees his old sword that fucking broke. Like, he had the hilt. He just leaves.
Yeah. So the Queen's funeral, this is kind of a montage of a bunch of shit that has happened in the time being, I guess. The Queen's funeral happened or whatever. People are saying that it was likely conspirators of like a resistance group of some sort, or maybe an assassin from a third country that killed all the nobility and the Queen in that terrible fire or whatever. So because there was the Midland Tudor armistice that happened, so people just thought this was a political thing or whatever. And then they found the remains of a bunch of people that they just assumed might have been part of connected to the incidents that have been happening outside the castle, all the corpses that Guts basically killed. And that they just kind of were like, yeah, that's probably what it was, so everything's cool now. So it goes. Yeah. CSI Tudor did not exist yet, so. But yes, 1 month later, there's snow everywhere. I really, really like how things are drawn here with again, just like use of an eraser or something to erase lines to like give that soft feeling like there's snow there.
Yeah, like it's soft. It's like everything, even like inside and shit, like just how things are drawn, it all feels muffled. You know, like it's wintry. It's
a good example of this is on page 149, the middle panel that's horizontal. You see the hard lines that the building has, and then at the very top, instead of the hard lines on the roof and stuff, they're kind of grayish and like smudged out instead. And it's just like it's just a good way to see how like using not hard lines with hard lines is able to kind of give that feel that there's like a softness there or something. It's cool. Guts is packing up though while everybody's sleeping, and he is walking out the door, looks at his armor, I guess one last time or something. I don't know why he's like giving it the come fuck me eyes, but it's Guts, so sure.
Yeah. So he leaves, but Casca notices him from her window.
Yeah.
So she rushes out. Well, she rushes past, that's his name, Korkus. Judo and Korkus are...
Korkus, the piece of shit. We'll be talking more about Korkus coming up, for sure. She runs by them in her like nightgown in the snow, just classic like rom-com type scene too. Of just she is dreadfully not dressed for this, but she has kind of her overcoat on or whatever.
Yeah,
and she knew this was happening at some point, but this is kind of
probably
the like
hoped it wouldn't.
Yeah. So this is kind of that moment, and it's kind of heartbreaking. The bottom of page 153, her facial expression of like there's like a hurt in her smile there that is weird to explain, that you just have to see, and it's always amazing to me that people can draw shit like that.
Like clearly holding back tears.
Yeah.
It's wild. But yeah, she's like, you know, this is like, the fighting's done. Like the shit's paying off. Like, you can't leave now.
Yeah.
And Guts says key line, I can't remain buried in his dream like this.
Yeah. Yeah. So she realizes it's not going to happen. He says, I hope things are going to go, like, I hope things are okay or whatever. Then Korkus and Judo come up and like, well, come have a chat with us. And Casca gets the idea that, wait a minute, Griffith can stop him. So she runs off into the night, and we kind of get a moment of the three of them in the tavern chatting. And
yeah. Cork is just being a shitbag the whole time.
God, I hate Corcus here so fucking much. What?
Just hitting on women and just like, I mean, being just someone who, like, a thief that has achieved nobility.
Yep.
But doesn't care to, like, be any of the things that is expected of that role.
Yeah, I mean, you can tell he just throws his feet up on the table, knocking over the cheese wheel, which is like a sin. And like
His greatest sin, easily.
His greatest sin, for sure.
But like he just like can't fathom it. Like he has his whole monologue about like fucking how they're commoners and like this never happens, and like how the fuck could you want to throw this away? Like, are you stupid?
Yeah.
Like he can't fathom having anything beyond like just a bit of money and power. Like that's all he wants.
You can swing a sword but can't swing a woman, huh? And then I love how he's just like, it's like you said, I can't do anything but swing my sword.
Yeah.
But yeah, we get some cool like introspection. So it's weird because all of this setup makes it seem like, oh, this is just them being fucking pieces of shit or whatever. But then we get some introspection from Guts here saying how ever since he was a kid, he just he doesn't know anything. Like all he's ever known is how to kill, to survive, swing his sword, and fight for people or whatever. Yeah. And this is kind of his explanation of meeting Griffith and joining the Hawks made him want something more for the first time ever, and he needs to find what that is, essentially.
Yeah.
And importantly, Griffith said something about how he wants a friend that like is his equal or whatever, like when he was chatting with Charlotte in the courtyard a while back.
Yeah.
And this chapter ends with Guts saying, I want to stand beside him by attaining something of my own. He's the only one I can't stand looking down on me. Like, he wants to impress him and be his peer. He doesn't want to be his tool anymore, is the thing.
Yeah. Well, and even just before that, when he's like, in order for him to aim so high, he always has to hone himself to the limit. And that's like,
yeah.
I mean, in line, like, they're just how they're doing that in different ways. Because, like, Guts is always the one fighting, but, like, Griffith is just honing himself in a different way. Like,
yeah.
Guts is doing anything he can to survive on the battlefield and swinging the sword and that sort of shit. Griffith is doing the same thing, but just on the path to his dream. But when Guts does it, it's literally just like to survive.
Yes. And they're basically, in layman's terms, there has to be more than just surviving.
Yeah.
Is his thing. And he's started to realize that. Graphically, page 163, the way that the background is like a darkened gray so that Griffith can stand out as like this beacon of white against it or whatever in his memory is super
and
good.
I don't know if it's intentional. I don't know if it's what we're supposed to get from it, but for me, it definitely, like, Guts kind of being below Griffith and he's standing up there, that like definitely evokes the
higher
conversation.
Yep.
Because like even then, like Casca and Guts were at like the bottom of those stairs listening.
Yep.
And Griffith was all the way at the top, standing on the fountain, like talking about this.
Yeah, even when he's talking about the first time Griffith showed up, he's on the ground fighting with Casca, and Griffith is on his horse above him. Like, he's in every one of these shots physically higher than Guts is.
Yeah, and even like just on the panels, we get a lot of shots either straight on or angled down for Guts, and almost, if not all of them, of
looking
Griffith
up.
are angled up.
Yeah. Looking up. Exactly.
So,
Yeah, it's
Sick
good
of it.
shit.
He wants to be Griffith's equal.
And that's where we'll end this, because there is more to this conversation, and more importantly, what happens when Griffith actually does learn that Gus is leaving. Because remember, he doesn't know any of this.
Casca has like run off and been like, maybe Griffith can stop him.
Yeah. Yeah, no, exactly. So we'll talk about that next time. But this was a chunky one. There was a lot to talk about here. So
Yeah. I mean, I feel like they're all just going to end up being chunky.
they're all going to be chunky. Yeah.
Meh.
It's the thing is that as far as I can tell, these are going to get more serialized into stories in this world. This Golden Age arc seems to be the big story that sets all that up, though. Is that more or less correct? Like, there's a reason why there's so much talking to do in this arc.
Yeah.
It's all set up. Like, all of it.
Yeah. Well, and especially for... Because, I mean, obviously we don't go for... What the fuck is it, like 400 chapters without meeting new characters? But, like, especially for, you know, Guts, our main character.
Like, let me fuck with you if you're listening to this and just like, oh, wow, this is a lot of stuff. We haven't even deep dived into Griffith yet.
Yeah. Yeah, no, we're like...
He's been ancillary to every other conversation, but he has like some moments where we find out more about where he came from a little bit and what happens to him. So, like, there's more there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
But we can save that for next time. So thank you for listening. And yeah, we'll see you next time.
Peace.